Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in. Listen, if you're an 8th grader currently staring down a blank page, or honestly, if you're just someone who wants to figure out how to make your voice truly heard and respected, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're not just trying to survive an English assignment. We're unpacking a master blueprint for becoming a powerful, persuasive communicator in literature and, more importantly, in real life. We're going to learn how to build arguments that make people actually sit up and listen, and we'll discover how grounding all that intellect in a rock-solid moral foundation literally changes everything. So, get ready, because this is going to be incredibly practical and deeply impactful.
Here is the quick roadmap for our explainer today. First, we'll go beyond "I liked it." Then we'll break down the evidence blueprint, compare weak versus strong responses, and finally look at education, morality, and peace.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Beyond I Liked It, the Power of Preparation.
So, I want to ask you directly, why isn't "I liked it" enough? Seriously, think about it. Have you ever finished a book or watched a movie and when a friend asks for your thoughts, you just shrug and say, "Yeah, I liked it," or worse, "Ugh, it was boring"? How does that conversation actually go? Usually it just hits a wall. It falls completely flat. Simply throwing an opinion out there without backing it up doesn't help you write good essays, it doesn't help you in class discussions, and it certainly doesn't help you in real-life conversations where you want to be taken seriously. People don't just want your opinion. They want to know why you think what you think.
Okay, let's dive into this, because the source material points out that this isn't just some arbitrary English class rule. It actually roots this in a much higher, biblical principle. 1 Peter 3:15 says, "Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have." The curriculum emphasizes that being prepared to give a reason is a universal standard for living a thoughtful life. Whether you're explaining your faith, defending a character in a novel, or making a case for an idea you deeply believe in, the expectation is that you are prepared. You've done the work to know why you stand where you stand.
And the exact tool we use to be prepared in literature is text evidence. So text evidence is the specific details, the exact quotes, or the concrete information pulled directly from a text that you use to support your claim, your opinion, or your main idea. Think of your opinion like a house. If you just build it on the phrase, "I liked it," you are literally building on sand. It's going to collapse the second someone questions it. But when you use text evidence, you're pouring a concrete foundation. Strong literary responses are always built on this solid foundation. So why does this matter so much? Because backing up your claims makes you a formidable advocate in literally any setting. When you use evidence, your opinions immediately transform from these flimsy passing thoughts into strong, persuasive arguments. This is absolutely essential for crushing your essays and dominating those class discussions. But honestly, beyond the classroom, when you speak with evidence, it commands respect. When you can articulate exactly why something is good, bad, right, or wrong, people listen. You stop being just another voice in the crowd, and you start becoming a leader in the conversation.
Moving right along to Section 2, the evidence blueprint, how to build your argument.
Let's see how this actually builds your confidence. Think of me as your mentor right now, walking you through this bulletproof 4-step blueprint. Step 1, state your main idea clearly. Plant your flag. Tell us exactly what your claim is right out of the gate. Step 2, find quotes or details from the text. Actually go back to the book and find the exact words that made you form that opinion. Step 3, explain why the evidence supports your point. You have to tell the reader how the quote proves your claim. And Step 4, check that you are focused on the prompt. Always look back at the original question to make sure your brilliant argument didn't just wander off topic. If you follow these 4 steps, I guarantee your answers will never miss the mark.
Now this right here is the missing link. Step 3 is where so many students stop way too soon. They find a great quote, they drop it into their paragraph, and then they literally run away. You cannot do a hit and run with a quote. You have to build a bridge. You need to write a sentence or two connecting that specific quote directly back to your claim. You have to do the heavy lifting for your reader and explicitly state, "This quote shows that," or "Because the character did this, it proves." Never ever assume the quote just speaks for itself.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next point. Section 3, weak versus strong responses, the showdown.
Notice the stark contrast here. On the left side, we have a weak response. "I like the main character." That's a total dead end. There's no evidence, no deep thought, no persuasion. But look over at the right side. This is a masterclass in the blueprint we just talked about. I like the main character because she showed courage when she stood up to the bully saying, "You can't treat people that way." This shows she values fairness and bravery. Do you see the difference there? It states the claim, it drops a direct quote as evidence, and then, crucially, it explains what that quote shows about her values. That is a response that gets an A+.
And here's a quick pro tip to level up your writing even further. You don't always need 3 choppy sentences to pull this off. As you practice, you can actually combine your quote and your brief explanation into one single, flowing sentence. Notice how that strong response seamlessly integrated the character's dialogue right into the sentence describing the action. This keeps your writing smooth, engaging, and incredibly powerful. It shows you are in total control of your argument.
Finally, let's look at Section 4, Education, Morality, and Peace, the big picture.
The core philosophy behind the Heroesmartacademy Godly Learners series is simply this: education without morality will hurt. We've spent this explainer talking about how to be smart, how to be persuasive, and how to build incredible arguments. But the source material argues that academic skills on their own are just not enough. Your sharp mind and your education absolutely must be paired with a clear moral direction. Think about it. If you learn how to be highly persuasive, but you use those skills to manipulate others, or if you're brilliant but lack compassion and integrity, that education will ultimately lead to pain, both for yourself and for the people around you.
So the crucial point is, what is the ultimate goal of all this learning? The curriculum looks to Romans 8:6-7, which promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their minds spiritual. The lesson here is that when you align your intellect, your ability to analyze, to gather evidence, to argue well, with a spiritually grounded mind, the result isn't just getting good grades. According to this framework, the ultimate reward is true, lasting peace of mind. That's what we see in those who engage deeply with these truths.
To summarize the big picture of this curriculum, this approach totally intertwines biblical morality with your education. It posits that as your mind grows sharper, your character has to grow deeper. That is the path that leads to true peace of mind. It ensures your smarts are used wisely, right? To build people up rather than tear them down, and to advocate for truth with grace. You aren't just learning how to construct a paragraph here, you are learning how to construct a life of integrity. I want to leave you with this really profound, lingering thought from the source material to chew on. What's the point of being smart and supposedly educated if you continue to make choices that hurt? Let that sink in for a second. Use the blueprint we discussed today to build your literary arguments. For sure, gather your evidence. But more importantly, gather the moral evidence in your own life to ensure that your education is a tool for good, a tool for peace, and a tool that brings hope to the world. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Keep learning, keep building those strong foundations, and I will see you next time.